Hello and welcome to a scene for Vampire by Gaslight. Today, Jonas Walker will be waking up from his daily slumber on a day that happens to be the 14th of February. And he will find, when he does awake, that there are two things resting by his bedside table. One is a small note card on the usual silver platter for said letters, and the other seems to be a box with a large bow on it.
Interesting. Jonas will go ahead and extradite himself from his particular bed chamber and proceed to walk towards his wardrobe, putting on putting on something to go ahead and start his evening. Something a bit. Actually, he thinks to himself, "No, this is a night for work." So he puts on some very, very simple rags for a shirt, very, very simple breeches, as well as for tonight, he'll devote most of his time to the laboratory downstairs. He walks over to a what appears to be some sort of reading desk, goes ahead and picks through a few different notebooks, jots down a few notes to himself, the date, what his general mood and feeling is, and the surprising revelation of two packages being presented to him. He'll go ahead and leave one column open for the bigger package and one column for the smaller envelope. He'll put the journal and the pencil down and walk over to the package. He's going to go ahead and actually see how much does it weigh.
It's not light, but it's not drastically heavy either. Well, it's fairly heavy. You can hear a slight sloshing sound.
Jonas is going to go ahead and heighten his senses to the sloshing, and he's not going to shake the box. He's just going to go ahead and maneuver the box. Lift it up, put it back down.
No, it only makes a sloshing sound when you move it.
Okay.
It's not something alive in there. It's just there's a slight sloshing sound because there is a container of fluid inside.
Jonas goes ahead and makes a mental note to himself. Fluid. Interesting. And then he'll proceed to heighten his sense of smell, actually.
You can smell perfume. The box has been very, very lightly scented, so you can smell perfume. But under that, a lot more subtle, you can just about pick up the smell of formaldehyde.
Okay. Interesting. It's a perfume package that holds a preservative. Interesting. Puts it back down. Isn't quite ready to open it yet. He'll look towards the envelope and see if it's related to the package.
Does not seem to be related to the package. The envelope has a small stamp on it that you recognise as coming from the university, just something that the secretary uses so that you know where your letter has come from when it's been forwarded. It's just on the bottom corner where it won't get in the way of anything. So presumably that at least has been delivered via the university. The box doesn't have one on.
Okay. I'll go ahead and open up the envelope then.
It's a short message from Sir Trant asking for you to see him at your earliest convenience.
Hmm. Interesting. Jonas goes ahead and mumbles to himself. Now, what would he want to talk about? Eh. Goes ahead and puts the envelope down, makes the journal entry. Message from Sir Trant. Requests correspondence and a later follow-up interview. Period. Gotcha. Jonas will go ahead and put the journal in his elbow and hold it close to him with his arm. He'll pick up the package and he'll call out to his retainer, telling him to turn away, at least for tonight, turn away any callers. He has business to attend to. If it's an urgent business, he should rush over and knock on the laboratory door.
And your retainer will presumably say yes, sir, and
Good,
do as you requested.
good. Pat's head, good. In any case, I can't creep that personality any more than I already have, unless I really, really want to try. But tonight is not for creeping out my own servants.
No.
Jonas will go ahead and leave his private chambers. Go ahead and walk down towards the kitchen. Get a huge wrought iron keychain from out of his pocket. Go ahead and insert it into a few of the padlocks to unlock it. And after he does so, he'll go ahead and whisper to himself the key phrase to get into the laboratory as it has been sealed mystically. He'll go ahead and enter. If you want to give any sort of description to that particular effect, feel free to do so.
You'll have realised that you'll actually have had to have said the key phrase before unlocking the door,
Ah, okay,
because
so
the
basically.
walls close over.
Okay. I actually
It's
forgot
not
about that.
something that is subtle, so you can't really use it on your whole house. But yeah, the wall has closes over it, and so you'll have to say the key phrase and then unlock the door because the door will be uncovered by the walls.
Okay. Well, Jonas will go ahead and curse to himself, getting the keychain out and not realizing he has no place to put it. Go ahead and repeat the key phrase to himself, revealing the door, revealing the locks. Go ahead and put in his key, unlock it, and proceed down the stairs to his particular laboratory.
Did you lock it? Did you set up a key phrase in both directions?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Do you want to take some sort of license in describing the laboratory, or you're leaving that up to me?
It's your laboratory.
Okay.
Aside from the fact that it's that unless you go completely ridiculously over the top with the sort of stuff that you might have and be able to get hold of, it's pretty much up to you.
All right. Jonas will go ahead and descend the staircase, each step having a little bit of a crick to it, and a slight popping as the wood goes ahead and subtly moves in its place. He descends down the fairly dark staircase leading down to the basement, at which point at the bottom of the stairs, Jonas will go ahead and light a small little fire to himself, small little candle, go ahead and place it onto a candle holder. Proceed to light up the room a little bit because he'll need the extra bit of illumination. Within this particular room, there are drawers and there are shelvings. There is jars and jars filled with different preservatives that have a rank stank of preservatives. Inside each one of them is various different organs that Jonas has been able to procure for himself. On the other side happens to be a bookcase filled with different physiology and anatomy textbooks and diagrams of the like. And in the center of this particular mess, towards the back wall, happens to be his workstation and a side writing accompanied desk. The writing desk currently has bunches and bunches of different notes and different diagrams, different frustrations and musings, and right beside that happens to be a trash can full of these discarded musings. On the workstation itself, there happens to be a casket that is currently closed for the time. But it also has the rank smell of. Actually, it doesn't have the rank smell of preservative. Oh, yeah, that is true. It doesn't need it. Towards the side table, there happens to be. It can only be described as some sort of chemistry set of the like. And just below that particular chemistry stack happens to be a journal that Jonas has gone ahead and tried to research and try to experiment upon, but that particular project has been put on hold for quite some time, simply because his mind was being affected by the doll upstairs, which is no more. He thinks to himself, maybe I was a little bit hard on that young start, but oh well. He continues on and takes the package that he has, goes ahead and puts it onto his workstation, and now proceeds to untie the bow and open up the package.
And surprisingly enough, he will find a he'll find a jar that sloshes slightly as he pulls it out, and inside, well, it's very interesting actually. It looks a lot like a heart, except it's not the shape that you would usually expect a heart to be. It has been altered and has ended up into something of a flower shape.
Huh.
It looks almost like a lily made out of a
Huh.
heart.
That's adorable. Just go ahead and take the ribbon that the package was wrapped up in. I'm assuming it's a fairly decent quality ribbon, right?
Hmm.
Okay. He'll go ahead and take the jar of preservatives, go ahead and admire the lilies to himself quite a bit, and go ahead and tie the ribbon around the jar and sort of place it in a place of prominence in his own preservative case. Just it's the first thing that he will see. The first thing that he will see coming back up, leaving the workshop. It won't be the first thing that he sees coming down, but it'll be the first thing, or I should say, the last thing he sees going back up.
Aww.
Jonas sort of scratches his head, goes ahead and goes to his writing bench, goes ahead and takes a sheet of paper that's perfectly plain and clean, and he freaking buggers himself, seeing as he isn't able to create something like that for his particular admirer. Sort of curses himself for his lack of ability. But he did send something, and if it wasn't good enough, then it wasn't good enough. Oh well. For tonight he must turn his attention towards his own work. As he goes ahead and proceeds to place down his journal and writes in the second column, an admirer sent a package. Dot. God damn it. If only he could write more in this particular journal. In any case, he'll go ahead and proceeds towards the wooden sealed up casket where he has kept the body of somebody that ran afoul of him. Somebody who was a very, very brief friend, having bribed him with some wine, but who eventually ended up dead. Original intent would be to send this body as far away from himself as possible, but circumstances decided to change that, and now this particular dead body resides with him. Hmm. He goes ahead and opens up the casket a little bit to observe the deceased form of this wino. Hmm. I believe this is where he will begin his particular thought. Hmm. Well, if I can't dispose of it as I would have wanted to, at least it is preserved. Hmm. And the preservation seems to hold for quite more than I thought it was going to. Hmm. Let's go ahead and begin
It's
some
still
experimentation for this.
holding for the moment.
Mm-hmm. Actually, you know what I should do? I should preserve. I should try to preserve this using the ritual I did beforehand, and then begin the experimentation, just so that body keeps. Or is that too much?
Okay.
You're coming in, Roboti.
Feel free to
I'm sorry, we're still having communication issues.
um you can try and do the ritual again, but until the first one runs out,
Mm-hmm.
you can't cast it a second time. It automatically fails. So, in character, you may or may not know that.
Do I believe the act of creating a fire and rushing this person through it again is a little bit too much? I mean, if the fire gets out in this particular lavatory, that's his whole work probably destroyed, and maybe even himself destroyed. So let's not do that. Let's do a simple experimentation upon the body, and actually, Jonas knows that his particular vitae is not as strong as it ought to be, at least in certain properties. It works fairly well for binding people to his will, but not necessarily for anything else. Okay, let's try some simple skin grafts. Let's see how well this body handles the separation of flesh and bone, and then the reassertion of such with vampiric vitae as a sort of glue.
Okay.
So, here's what I propose. I propose that we go ahead and look towards the lower section, see about a few of these toes and toenails, actually. Surgically remove them and try to attach them someplace else, such as the chest or the forearm. See if it actually goes ahead and takes hold. And this is all descriptive fluff for what Jonas will be doing to this particular corpse in the next few nights.
With very little success. But this is how you learn.
Mm-hmm.
Because the answer is no, you can't use your vitae as super glue.
Fair enough. But he'll make sure to examine the toe under various lenses and how it reacts to various chemicals, both formaldehyde and different preservatives from the periodic table and different metals also from the periodic table. Let's see what a routine coroner may try to produce and may try to preserve using his own vitae injected into the system to see how it works. One of which being the control, the left side, the right side being the one with vampiric vitae attached to it. See how well it preserves. See if it has any sort of animate effect towards it.
You can do a lot of experimenting.
Mm-hmm.
It won't get you very far because you don't have vicissitude and you don't have biotherm yet.
Mm-hmm.
But it will keep you busy for a while.
Yeah, and I can always apply the first two levels, or at least the first level of thaumaturgy to this particular incident. This thing has blood. When I separate it out, it should have the same sort of blood. And we're seeing what kind of changes are produced, whether it changes the nature under the thaumaturgical lens, or whether it changes nature under the more mundane scientific edge, and seeing if, using the second level, he'll be able to exert some sort of influence here, whether it's not just spending the vitae already in the system or spending the human mundane blood within the system, both of which aren't exactly how this works, but he's trying pretty much everything at the moment.
Yep.
This was a night for experimentation.
Yep. Level 2 will not work on the corpse.
Nope, didn't
But
think so.
level 1 will tell you a bunch of stuff about this guy and how old he is and how his liver was gradually rotting because he was a drunkard. And
Wait, his liver, you say?
uh-huh.
The liver is actually a filter organ.
Mm-hmm.
It usually
But he
filters
was an
things out.
alcoholic.
Oh yeah. That doesn't matter. That leads to a very interesting sample case. A
Mm-hmm.
damaged liver. Will a damaged liver process vampiric vitae? And we are waiting for Deborah to come back. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Hi, we back?
Sorry, internet issues. So, will a damaged liver...
Here's what I'm thinking. We go ahead and take the organ as it is, and I know this will not work. I know you need a living specimen for it, but all I can do right now is look at the structure of this liver, where it is damaged, where it is deficient, and draw my own conclusions about how the vampiric vitae would be filtered through the system. Because presumably, when a ghoul goes ahead and imbibes the vitae, it goes through the natural digestive system, and soon enough, it will hit the liver.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting idea. I may have to perform a few experiments on ghouling drunkards versus ghouling clean men, killing them and examining their corpses.
Mm-hmm. You also may think that vivisection would be a better plan when it comes to studying the liver.
I do not at this point have a operating theater in which to perform that. I could transform this place into an operating theater. It would be worth the effort.
Yet. I'm just saying that if you want to see livers in operation, you kind of have to be alive.
Not necessarily. If I go ahead and see some life operations in various portions of the digestive tract, say I take a few drunkard people and I go ahead and end their lives at various points during the ghouling process, I'd be able to get an interesting cross section. Of course, that is much, much, much more hassle to go ahead and end those lives rather than performing a simple vivisection. What I could do is I could simply take a drunkard, right? Go ahead and proceed to make him imbibe the vitae. Get him so drunk that I'll probably not remember tonight. Bring him down here, perform the vivisection, and see him off on the morrow. Hopefully with a few less memories, but since I'm not that particularly talented in Dominate, that might be an experiment I have to wait for. All this time, Jonas himself is making different notes and different queries to himself in a second journal that he keeps down here.
Yep, lots and lots of possibilities. This is the problem with experimentation. There are always more experiments you can do.
Interesting. Liver. Very interesting organ. The brain. It's possible. Or the heart. Well, it could be the brain. Because the vitae does have the property of radically changing one's behavior. It's very, very possible that the vampiric vitae breaks the body-brain barrier and changes different phrenology, or I should say fraternal lobes. Those one being associated with affection, loyalty, goes ahead and perverts that, or corrupts it, or changes it to be more attentive towards that vampiric figure.
It's all possible, all stuff to look into.
Again, Jonas making more notes to himself as he goes ahead and examines and dissects and makes various notes on the health of this particular individual, jotting down potential experiments for somebody else. I mean, for some next night or the night after that. But he'll spend the majority of this very, very night either making notes to himself, examining the body, or looking up, actually, towards the beautiful lilies made out of somebody's heart.
Yep. Ever so pretty.
If so.
Good job you're not a toreador. They might be distracting.
Actually, damn it. I'll be spending the entire night doing this, but there is another place I need to go ahead and examine. Perhaps the next night or the night after that. I still need to go ahead and talk to Brian about his particular visitation at a nightclub, and even make a visit to that nightclub myself.
Yep. Brian's been acting a bit weird.
Damn it. Well, I'm spending the entire night doing this, but if tomorrow evening, I can wake up and do an interview with him?
Sure, if you can find him.
I'll attempt to do so. You could fast forward the scene if you would like.
Yep, that is perfectly fine. Following night, you can go, you can try and find Brian. He is busy showing off to a bunch of girls, doing stuff that he probably should not be doing.
Like what? What am I walking into?
Oh, let's just say that He seems to be getting a piercing somewhere private.
Wow, I'm actually walking into that particular scene.
I was trying to come up with something. He's messed up. There's all sorts of craziness going on with Brian. I'm going to go with that.
Wow. Okay. I'm going
Yeah,
to let him finish his stupidity just outside of this particular scene, just waiting for him to come back out to his particular appointment with the body modification specialist.
yep.
And I'm going to have like this really disappointed look on my face.
Yeah, he is drinking a lot. He's not acting his usual self.
Well, if that is the case, I'm going to go ahead and grab that. I'm going to grab that ruffian by the scuff of his shirt, simply saying, "You've had enough. We need to talk," and sort of start to drag him out of the establishment.
Yeah, he's
Um,
going to try and swing for you.
I'm looking at him and I'm simply saying, "Stop," using
He's
dominate.
okay. And he will stop.
You are going to follow me. Dominate, follow.
And he will follow because let's face it, his willpower is not going to be the best at the moment. So we won't even bother with rolls for it.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take poor Brian towards an alleyway of sorts, some very, very close place, and I'm simply gonna go ahead and look at him and saying, "Brian, you need to start explaining yourself. You, I haven't even seen. Have you been reporting to
How close are you standing to him?
do a foot?
He's going to lurch forward and kiss you right on the mouth.
Wow. Good God, man! Trying to bring my hands to his shoulders and shove him away. What is wrong with you?
He just shrugs. Seemed like a good idea.
Why are you acting out all of a sudden, Brian? This is unbecoming to a young gentleman as yourself.
He just shrugs again. Seems like a good idea. Hey, I heard that there is a game going on down at the Queen's Pig. Queen's Pig. Yes, we should totally go and play there.
Do I need to roll awareness to figure out what exactly has happened to this particular individual? Because I got a good feeling out of character.
Um, to be sure. Well, you're not going to be sure either way, but you can make whatever guesses you want.
Okay. I'll go ahead and make whatever guesses that I want. And Jonas is thinking to himself, Sir, Sir, actually, did the sketches that I did out of character, did they match any particular individual that I know?
The sketches. Oh, of the people.
Mm-hmm.
You did not get the best details,
Mm-hmm.
but you can. Some of them do seem they do seem to roughly match. Not enough that you could be sure that they are certain people, but you could probably guess if you assumed that they were people you knew,
Mm-hmm.
rather than if they're just any pictures, you could narrow down the people that you know through certain people. Yes, it's
Do
not enough
any
to go off, but you can
mhm.
guess.
Okay, fair enough. Are any of the pictures close enough or leaning towards Sir Trant?
Yes.
Okay. Right now, Jonas is guessing that that rather abrupt and rude gentleman went ahead and played with this poor man's mind to reduce his inhibitions, he's thinking to himself.
Bear in mind, at this point in time, Camarilla vampires do not have demontate.
Oh, okay, so knowledge of it
Malkavians have
is.
dominate.
Okay. So knowledge of it is not well known or not spread out at this point.
Nope. And even if you did know of it, you might not even know of its connection to Malkavians.
Okay, fair enough. That is
Because, like I said, it's only Sabat Malkavians that have demontate at this point.
okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I do not recognize the symptoms presented before me, the lowered inhibitions, and I cannot relate it to any one particular discipline because the particular discipline that I would assume is not known by my character. Right?
Uh-huh.
All right.
And yeah, it's yeah, that discipline is not very well known. It's not really coming into your mind. You can jump to conclusions that it's something to do with them.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I'm just looking at this particular gentleman with his lower inhibitions, and I'm simply saying, right. Do you have the invitation with you? The one that took you off to that nightclub?
What, the Viper's Nest? You hand the
Yeah.
invitation in.
Oh, could you point it out to me? We're gonna go for a walk, and you point out the club to me.
Oh, that dancer is just amazing. We should totally we should break in there and go have sex with her on the stage.
Looking over, actually peering into his face. You're gonna do nothing of the sort. You're going to point out the club to me, and then you're going to go ahead and go back to your own dormitory, and you're going to spend the night doing nothing there. You understand me?
But that's boring.
I don't care if it's boring. It's what you're gonna do, all right?
I'm just gonna go to the Queen's Pig and go play that game poker.
Grabbing Brian by the collar and bringing him close to my face. Do you know why you were accepted into Edinburgh University?
Oh no.
You're looking at the reason right now. And if I tell you to do something, you better do it. Otherwise, you won't have a very long stay here in Edinburgh.
School's boring.
God, just take me for a walk.
Thought thought you didn't like that stuff.
Jonas is going to go ahead and take Brian roughly by the arm and proceed to have a little walk with him, like freaking cheer him on, going, show me, show me.
Okay, but I want to get some more drink.
Jonas is going to go ahead and grab one of his wino gifts, and he didn't expect to actually have this wino gift, but it's a small I have no way to explain this, but it's a small decanter of whiskey, actually. And I'll go ahead and pass it towards Brian and simply say, come over here. You're with me now.
Okay. You know, you're kind of pretty for a guy.
I could tell that was your opinion of me.
If you wore a wig, you could probably pass for a woman.
And I'm very, very sure that's a
We should
fantastic
put him
quality to
in
have.
wigs.
No. Brian, show me.
Wonder if any of us has wigs this time of night.
Brian, we're gonna go ahead and see the dancer now.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, come
it's
with me.
awesome.
Yeah, show me, show me.
See, much better way to do it.
Yeah, this man will not see tomorrow.
You do manage to find your way to this nightclub.
Okay, is the nightclub open? Is it closed? Is it covert? Is it overt?
It's covert. There is a sign, and there is a single red light, and there is a door with a sliding view hole.
Hmm. Okay, interesting, interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and look over to Brian and ask him, how did you gain entrance the last time you were here?
Gave in the invitation.
And what did he do?
Took the invitation, and we went in.
Did he open the door for you?
Yeah.
Awesome! That makes this so much simpler. All right, Jonas is going to go ahead and walk over to the door and proceed to rap tap tap on the window slider.
It will slide open.
Open, dominate.
This time you will have to roll because he is
Awesome.
not drunk and impulsive and basically on like zero willpower.
And I won't even spend willpower. You tell me the target number.
5.
All right, that's
Pretty
two
high for a
successes.
human, but still.
Oh yeah.
But then it could be because he's not entirely human. But yeah. He will open the door.
Okay. Jonas will go ahead and tell Brian to stay. Dominate, stay. Pointing towards a bench or whatnot off to the side.
Okay, roll this time. Um, it's not an issue of difficulty.
It's an issue
Probably to
of
do with
how
time.
long does he stay.
Yeah. So, if we just add all of that together and we say that in minutes.
Well, I add it all together, out all the numbers.
Yep.
Okay. 15 minutes to 21 minutes to 25 minutes to 32 minutes.
Yeah, you got 32 minutes before he gets bored and wanders off.
All right, very well. After I'm inside, I won't go ahead and proceed any further inside. I'll actually look at the man who just opened the door.
You can hear music coming from inside. The guy is large, muscular, and confused.
I will look to him and I will simply say, would you very, very kindly point me to the proprietor of the establishment? Who runs this place? I want to know.
He's not here.
It's a he. Who is he? I need a name, good sir.
Who are you?
If you wish to know my credentials, I happen to be a professor over at the university. You may request for one Professor Polka. Is that enough for you?
The university?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that seems interesting enough. I'll pass the message along. You don't happen to know that Fortescue guy, do you?
He and I often pass each other by, but we talk in different circles. To answer your question, I know the man. Are you still with me? Am I still with you? Darn it. Hello.
Hello.
Still with
Um,
us?
yeah, sorry, connection issues. He says, I'll mention that when I pass the message along.
Who is performing tonight? Gesturing towards the music and the sound.
Hmm, sounds like Sylvie will be up soon.
Who is the most popular dancer here?
Well, that'll depend on who you ask, but most of them will go with Sylvie.
The one with a caramel skin?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, okay, my good sir. Thank you for answering my questions. Jonas will go ahead and into his breast pocket and produce an amount of coins, a little bit of a bribe, a little bit of a tip, whatever have you, and just sort of stuff it into this doorsman's coat. Thank you.
That's okay,
Proceed.
Professor.
A man ought to be tipped for his services. And afterwards, he'll go ahead and sidestep the conversation and proceed to walk further inside the nightclub.
And you'll see this kind of this. Well, the music goes slightly quiet, and there is this kind of hushed expectation. Um, there's a room that is really opulent with various scantily clad women moving around it and a lot of wealthy looking gentlemen. And this individual will come onto the stage, and she is gorgeous. I mean, she definitely gives Angelique a run for her money. And we both know how pretty the Toreador can be.
Hmm. Interesting, interesting. Who was the lady that just stepped away from the seat, from the stage? Where is she going?
Oh, there wasn't one. There is gaps in between the performances where the band plays.
Ah, fair enough. What is her routine like then? Because I'm going to spend about 5 minutes observing the routine before I do something.
Fairly explicit.
Okay, fair enough. Gonna
She is
do
very flexible.
very flexible. Okay. I don't want to assume things because I have my own assumptions about what this particular dancer is. But if you would like, I can make a an aura check on this particular individual.
Go ahead and roll for it.
Eh? Watch me watch, because I have no empathy. Woo! One.
Okay, in that case, you can just about tell that the aura is indeed pale.
Hmm. Jonas thinks to himself. I've never. Jonas thinks to himself. I don't think that she's recognizing this particular Edinburgh court, is she? Yeah. Very interesting. Whereabouts does she make her entrance and exit from? I should say entrance from the to the stage, since I haven't seen her exit the stage.
From the wings, there's like curtains on either side of the stage. Behind the curtains is kind of like the offstage area.
Okay. After about 5 minutes of seeing her performance and reading her aura, Jonas will go ahead and excuse himself from wherever he's sitting and excuse himself from whatever attentions he's currently getting from any sort of other performer or musician or other club goer, whatever have you. Proceed
Um,
to
there'll have been there's cigarette girls, waitresses, kind of things going around.
oh,
Scantily clad, not scantily clad by Victorian standards. You can almost see their knees.
you know what? This
It's scantily.
actually makes things a lot more simple. I'll go ahead and call out to one of the cigarette girls actually and act as if I need a cigarette.
And she will happily provide you with a cigarette
Okay. I'll go ahead and look to her
and
and
light it
simply say,
provocatively.
"Oh yes, very productively." I'll go ahead and look to the cigarette girl and simply say, "Can you pass along a message?"
Yeah. What message do you want me to pass on?
Jonas is going to go ahead and produce a small sheet of paper and whatever writing utensil he can currently grab at the moment. Uh, Go ahead and place the paper flat on the back of a chair or a table and simply write a message. Do a time, a place, and a name. The time and place to be determined, and the name being J JJP. And I'll go ahead and look to the girl and simply say, if you could pass that on to the performer, that would be wonderful. And just sort of sweeten the deal, Jonas will go ahead and put a few more copper pieces into her plate.
Sure, I can pass it along, honey, but she's got a lot of admirers.
Uh,
And you can definitely see that she does have a lot of admirers.
I'll look to her and simply say, tell tell her it's from a pale admirer.
Okay.
And Jonas will go ahead and sit back down in his seat. About how much time has passed?
Um, Probably, yeah, about 15 minutes.
Okay. Uh, I'm actually going to wait 10 more minutes to see if the cigarette girl actually does pass the message over.
She does disappear behind the curtains somewhere, probably to leave it in the dancer's dressing room. And the dancer will at some point leave the stage to massive applause.
Very well.
And yeah, that's the best you can tell. The dancer has headed off stage and to wherever it is that she goes between her dancing, and the cigarette girl will um, reemerge, give you a wink and a thumbs up, and then just carry on doing her job.
Okay, didn't expect the wink and thumbs up. I can only guess that the message was received, or if it wasn't, I can only guess that. Well, actually, I cannot guess. The wink and the thumbs up may be just her trying to get my hopes up, which fair dues. It's her job to do that. But
Pretty much.
yeah, that's the worst case scenario. She goes ahead and sees it, doesn't do anything with it. Best case scenario, she received it and received it well, but for now, my time seems to be readily giving up on myself, and I must quickly leave.
Okay.
I'm gonna walk out of this particular performance area, go back to the corridor, where presumably see the doorman again,
Yep.
and go ahead and offer him a nod. And I go ahead and ask him to open the door for me.
He'll do it. He'll open the door. He's also he is giving you a bit of a knowing look, like a, I know what you did, but he
Mm,
doesn't say anything.
don't care. Go ahead and walk outside. He can think whatever he wants to think. Brian's still out there?
Yep, seems to have gained a friend.
Really?
Yep,
Who?
looks like a sailor.
Screw it. He has the rest of his night set up. It was Valentine's Day only a few days ago. I'm not gonna interrupt that. God damn it. Proceed to walk away.
Yeah,
And Jonas will go ahead and walk on to the rest of his night.
fair enough. Do you have any other plans for the night? Are you going to go and
Uh,
see Sir Trant? Are you going to go and visit anyone else? Are you going to go back to your experiments?
mm, da, da, da. I'll see about giving a message to Sir Trant about my availability tonight or the next night.
Okay,
And that'll probably be relayed by one of my retainers to one of his offices up towards the asylum.
fair enough.
But that is everything that I had planned.
Very well. Then there the scene shall end with Brian making out with a sailor, and both the sailor and Brian wandering off with what seems to be a prostitute.
Lol.